Flash warning for photosensitive viewers. When you boot up Cyberpunk 2077 and get sucked into the world of Night City, there's so many flashing lights and ongoing sounds that it's almost overwhelming. It is overwhelming. You breathe in the atmosphere of a society that has either failed you or is going to. This game's got plenty of violence and other things we can't be showing the viewers at home, so we're gonna be happily dancing around that stuff. When Cyberpunk 2077 came out in December 2020, after a series of delays, the reception was not pleasant, to say the least. People were pretty upset with the state the game was released in, and very reasonably so. It was an unstable, buggy mess that resulted in an apology statement released from the developers alongside a roadmap of projected fixes and refunds issued from every storefront that was selling the game. Most surprisingly from Sony, who doesn't normally play around like that with their customers. A lot of vitriol was sent over towards the developers, who absolutely didn't deserve that treatment on top of the crunch and pressure they were already getting from their employers. In general, calling this game's existence controversial would be an understatement. I wasn't gonna touch this game at all while I had my trusty PlayStation 4, God rest her soul. The fan made the thing sound like a jet engine, and call me paranoid, but I wasn't going to take risks with an old piece of hardware. It's 2023 now, I have a PlayStation 5, and this game's been given nearly every fix possible. So how does it hold up? In a word, this game is mesmerizing. I couldn't tell you the last time I wanted so badly to get into a new series from aesthetic alone, but a couple factors weighed on my decision to actually get this game. On top of it just looking cool and seeming to have fun combat that will not be showcased on this family-friendly channel, last year an anime called Cyberpunk Edgerunners, featuring a standalone story set in the same universe, came out and made waves. It was only 10 episodes, and they're around 25 minutes apiece, which was perfect for me because I wasn't going to dedicate much longer to something that would disappoint me. So I dipped my toes into the world of Cyberpunk, and oh man, I kinda fell in love. Now on top of all of that incentive, the game only runs you around 25 eddies if you're buying a physical copy, and last-gen versions get free upgrades, so if I didn't get my money's worth, I couldn't complain that much compared to people who got this thing on release. You play as V, starting on a life path of Corpo, Street Kid, or Nomad. I chose Corpo, so my story began with me getting called in by my boss, getting ordered to call a hit on a higher-up, being screwed out of it, and losing my standing. After that, you and your friend Jackie start to join the ranks of other edge runners, people whose lives skirt on the edge of legality in the world of Cyberpunk, and you start building your life back up. After a bit, you take part in a heist that requires you to steal chipware from one of the biggest corporations around, Arasaka. It goes horribly wrong, and again, you lose everything, this time including your life. Your Ripper Doc brings you back using the tech that you stole, a prototype chip that can transcend life by storing your memories, your soul, into said chip, and becoming portable. The only thing is, there's already another personality on it. Enter Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves. Johnny's a belligerent rock star who's very, completely, painfully anti-establishment. And since both you and him have lost a lot because of Arasaka, you decide that taking them down is the only way to set things right. In terms of completion, I've played exactly that much and a smidge more of Cyberpunk, and I'm taking it at a much more leisurely pace now, but for the first week I had it and was playing through that giant intro, I was engrossed. I remember finishing the heist at around 3 AM and just wanting to play more but not being able to because sleep is important and my circadian rhythm was already shot. There's just so much going on in Cyberpunk and it's genuinely intimidating at first. I regret choosing to play through the combat tutorial because it's kind of exhausting and brings the pacing of the story to a grinding halt, but when you get right back to it, there's a thumping soul inside of this game. It gets flack for being very cyber but not really punk at all, perhaps only in attitude but not practice. but I'm not sure how much I agree with that. This game bleeds anti-establishment, and it shows you firsthand, even through just a walk in the city, that all of the flaws within the society these characters live in are the fault of a government whose attention can be bought. The energy of the structure within Cyberpunk is a combination of the worst aspects of both American and Japanese capitalism, just dialed to 99. That's why everything is flashing, the lights won't stop. Cybernetic enhancements are made to keep you active and efficient, but most people can't afford them, and your journey has you going to a back alley ripperdoc, who can get the job done, but can't assure long-term health. There's certainly an air of hopelessness within Cyberpunk, but by doing missions, living as an edge runner, and literally ignoring the laws that tell you not to do things because what are you gonna do, kill me? It all allows for an outlet. As someone who tends to spiral when I fixate on the worst parts of capitalism, it's nice to have something that not only understands a lot of that rage, but expresses it. Back to the technical aspects for a minute, there are sections where this game does prove that it's still got some problems. When I played through Johnny Silverhand's intro, the game just started freezing while I was in an elevator unless I turned to face a wall where there was no flashy stuff going on. Sometimes there's just general jank where I'm like, that can't be planned. For myself, that stuff was few and far between, and nothing like Pokemon Scarlet at least. After an insane launch, I think this game has mastered a turnaround on par with that of No Man's Sky, and CD Projekt Red is winning the trust of its fans back. After playing through several hours of Cyberpunk, I can confidently say I'm excited to beat this one, and I'm excited for the next games in CD Projekt Red's horizon. Cyberpunk is by no means perfect, but I do think it's got heart.